What's going on, guys? So today we're going to talk about the studio space. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to talk about things you should look for when you're looking for your own studio space. I'll give you a tour of this one, and then I'll also tell you at the end about how to save money when looking for a space. All right, so welcome to the studio. As you walk in right here, we got a couple of chairs so you can sit down and have some clients wait. Over here, we have a couple of just offices, 10 by 10, nothing special, a couple of awards that we've gotten over the years. Then over here, I've got some of the photos that we've done. And it's a range. I mean, we do product photography, commercial shoots for fashion brands. That one was for some inflatable pool lounges. I call them rafts, but like the company calls them lounges or whatever. A local dentist company, corporate stuff, fashion, like you name it, we do it. Any good office has a water cooler and a printer, so you gotta have that. A third 10 by 10, well, maybe not 10 by 10, but like 8 by 10 office. And then you gotta have a conference table. You have to sit down, be able to talk with your clients, work through some of their concerns, talk about money. And then we got a TV in the background to kind of preview some of the shoots that we've done. Some of the shots from the shoots or whatever. Then, bathroom, nothing special over there. And then we come into the shoot area. We have all of our paper stacked very neatly over here. Thankfully, all the colors on the outside of the box. A bunch of junk on the wall. Then this is kind of our getting ready area for like talent, makeup artists. We got a little rack to put the clothes on for wardrobe. The makeup artist can come in here and set up. Then over here, just fridge and some snacks. Let's see what we got in here today. All right, we got to restock the fridge. We just got a couple of waters, Coke, something like that. And then to do some pretzels right now. So yeah, we gotta get some new stuff in here. And then, boom, studio space. So we got the green screen here. Got a couple of lights up on the ceiling. Those aren't strobes, those are just like for video. Got a sound wall over here to kind of block some of the noise from coming off of the metal bay door back there. So now let's talk about the size of this space. If we're talking about how wide it is from this wall to the wall over there, it's about 21 feet roughly. And then from the green screen all the way over here to the garage door, you're talking about maybe 30 feet. So the space in general is about 21 feet wide by about 30 feet long up until that little corner right there. And then a few extra feet over there that we can have for like the getting ready sort of makeup room or whatever. But the big thing is the height from the ceiling. The ceiling to the floor, I don't even know how tall it is. It's probably about maybe 20 feet, maybe about 15 feet. All I know is I've got 12-foot light stands and I can extend them all the way as high as they go with a softbox on it, and I don't hit the ceiling. And that's the main thing you want to look for in a space. Like the office space is nice, the bathroom's nice and all that, but when it comes time to shoot, you want to have a space that has a high enough ceiling in it. Now let's talk about the good, the bad. One of the best things about having a studio space is air conditioning. I'm in South Florida. Today it's about 92 degrees outside and probably like 80% humidity. And on days like that, it's wonderful to be able to come in here and set the temperature on the air condition to about 75 degrees and just do a shoot. Number two, you don't have to worry about permits, you don't have to worry about police, you don't have to worry about getting approval from anybody to shoot someplace. It's just come in, set up, shoot, don't worry about a thing. Another thing that's great is, having a space that's separate from home kind of gives you a little bit more kind of work-life balance. Like you don't have to worry about your home being perfectly clean all the time because you have clients coming through, especially if you have kids, if you got to pick up stuff before your client comes by, or maybe you don't want to have the general public just coming to your house. Like it's nice to be able to have a space away from your home that you can come in, do some work, shoot, meet with clients, and then go back home and not have that pressure of just having everything super organized at your house. And the last great thing about having a studio space is controllable light. I can control all the light in here when I shoot. I don't have to worry about, you know, whether or not the sun is coming in and out, whether or not it's cloudy day outside, whether or not I'm getting a weird reflection off the building over there that has a red wall or something like that and is casting a weird hue or color cast or something like that on the client. Like, I don't have to worry about any of that. So we've talked about some of the good things. Let's talk about some of the bad things. So first off, having a studio space is great, but you have to make sure that you have enough shoots lined up to like justify the cost of renting it. Like before I got a studio space, I never realized how fast the month went by. But when the first of the month comes along and you have to pay that rent, you realize, oh wow, the month flew by. Because you don't really shoot in it and utilize it as much as you think you might. Going into it, you think, oh man, I'm gonna shoot in the studio all the time, meet with clients, it's gonna be great. But part of the reason why I'm dressed like this today is because my shoot today is gonna be out on the beach and out on a boat. So like, I'm dressed for that. Like majority of your clients, even though you have a studio space, they still wanna shoot on location or they have their certain ideas. Now, for commercial shoots, where it's products, clothing, fashion, or headshots or something like that, yeah, we're definitely gonna be in here. But even with headshots, sometimes if there's enough people at their office, we'll go on location and set it up there so that way it's more convenient for the client and it's a selling point. Hey, we'll come to you. Another thing is, it can get boring sometimes. Like sometimes you come in and shoot and shoot and shoot. And for me, it's like, man, how many shoots am I gonna do on a paper backdrop? Like, how can I jazz it up? How can I make it a little bit different this time? Because it can get boring shooting the same setup all the time. But anyway, let's go over to the table, sit down and talk about money. All right, let's talk about money, which is why I have you over here at the conference table. So the big question is, you know, how much does a studio space cost and when do you think you should get it and how do you save money in doing so? That amount is going to vary from location to location. What it costs here in South Florida versus North Georgia or West Idaho or wherever, it's going to be totally different. Like New York City and LA are going to be way higher than Boca in most cases. But let's talk about a couple of ways you can save money when looking for a space. First and foremost, share a space. If you look around your local area, you may find a co-working space that's geared toward creatives. I know here in Boca, I looked at one where it was a giant room about the size of the studio over there. It had about 15 desks or so set up, and then it had a smaller studio out back. There was another one that was geared more towards working professionals that had desks in a small shoot area that would not be as good. But if you're someone that maybe only has a few shoots a month, that may be a good option because it's the cheapest way to get into a studio space. The other thing I would strongly recommend is hooking up with other creatives that may have a studio space or are looking to rent out their own studio space. Every studio space that I've had, I've shared. You know, going back to the first one that I found on Craigslist, there was another photographer that put out an ad and there was about, I guess, 3 or 4 of us in there and it was great. Like, I got so much experience from, you know, being around the other photographers, picking their brains, shooting, sharing tips, sharing clients in some cases. A lot of times, you may end up in a situation where the other photographer, maybe they specialize in newborns and they don't do headshots, so they refer you all of the headshot work. Or maybe they're another wedding photographer and they're booked on a certain day, so they give the wedding to you or something like that. And it's also great because a lot of time as creatives, we're kind of lone wolves. We're kind of an army of one. We kind of go on our own route. It's always good to have someone else that's in the same field as you that you can freely share ideas with that, you know, isn't really about competition or making sure that they do better than you, but you can like bounce ideas off of and you can say, hey, how do you think I should deal with this problem client? What do you think I should quote on this job? I've never gotten a job like this before or something like that. And those are big things that you can ask somebody about that, you know, you just can't do if you're on your own, working at your desk at home or something like that. But anyway, yeah, back in the day, I had a nice little space that I shared with a couple of other photographers that was on the wrong side of the railroad tracks, literally. Although it was fun because sometimes we could take the pennies and put them out on the train tracks and flatten them and stuff like that. But anyway, it's a tricky thing. Having a studio space is great for clout purposes. And like, I know on YouTube, everyone's like, everything is great. It's so awesome. Life is the best or whatever. But the reality is you have to make sure that, you know, you're using the space enough to be able to justify what you're paying for it. And if you can share a space, that cuts your costs way down and gives you tremendous benefit. The only headache with it is sometimes scheduling conflicts. Like if you have a client that says, hey, can we do Tuesday? And you have to double check the calendar to make sure this Tuesday is available. But generally that's something that you're willing to like overlook when you compare having to pay a rent note that is 2, 3, 4, 5 times what you would normally pay. Anyway, those are my thoughts. So leave a comment below. Tell me what you're thinking about where you are in your process. Have you tried sharing a studio space with someone? Are you looking to do a co-working space? Are you going at it from home? Are you in the basement? Are you in a 10 by 10 room that looks like a closet? Like, let me know what your experience is and what you're trying to do with your space and what you think works best, and we'll keep the conversation going. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace.